I think we are around 10 o'clock. Sorry, 9 o'clock with European time. Yeah. So good morning to all again, and welcome again to ELCA Committee of Firms online inspiration sessions. Today, we have a very interesting topic, ecological gardening. Today, we will be together with Barbara and Petra from Naturim Garden about to be more informed about ecological gardens. So, as ELCA, we want to highlight the importance of the ecological and natural gardening in our profession. So, in this case, in this perspective, the last Trend Award was held in Galabau in Nuremberg in collaboration with BGL. The Austrian Foundation Naturim Garden was the highly respected winner of the award. During the award ceremony, some wonderful projects, which ecological gardening is the leading principle, were proudly presented. So, what can we learn from Naturim Garden? And why is the interest in ecological gardening growing? So, is there a demand for that? What does it mean for natural gardening? And what are the skills for a landscape contracting company to build natural gardens and follow the ecological aspects? How can we promote this? So today, Barbara and Petra will inform us and highlight the ecological gardening as a successful practice. But before that, I would like to give the floor to Walter for his speech.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Yassin. It is a pleasure that today we can present a movement from Austria that is in existence now for 25 years. And I think Barbara and Petra and also Krista will introduce you into a very important topic. And you will get to know about the aims and the principles of Natur im Garten. And I'm very proud that we had the ELCA Trend Award for this movement, and I think best will be that the ladies from Natur im Garten will present their movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for your introduction, Walter. For the ones who doesn't know, Walter is from Austrian Association. So I would like to make a short introduction with Petra Hirner and Barbara Fries. Petra is advisor for municipalities in Lower Austria, and Barbara is the quality seal and responsible from partner companies in Natur im Garten organization. So Petra and Barbara, the floor is yours.
Good.
And welcome
Perfect.
again.
Thank you. Then I'll just take over already. And yeah, I'll start with sharing our presentation because we prepared a little presentation for you. So one moment, I can't find the presentation. Why is it?
While you are looking for your presentation, I have also small remarks for the audience. Please keep you muted during the presentation, and you can ask your questions after the presentation with highlighting your hand from the app or writing in the chat.
Okay, I tried to share the presentation now. Yeah, I can see it. Can you see it as well?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just looking at the slides, I see that it is one moment. I don't know if it's the actual presentation that we prepared for you or if it's just a different version. Okay, it looks good. Perfect. Good. Then yeah, thank you again for having us here, and a very good morning from Austria. Egbert already said, oh, you look like you're sitting in a garden. Unfortunately not, because here in Austria it's quite cold. We have 1 degree over here, so it's not the best time to sit in the garden, to be honest. However, I'm really happy to be in this group today as well. First of all, I have to say, usually our working language is German. So I'm really sorry if I make errors in English or if I don't know the exact terms of it. But I also have my phone next to me. So in case I don't know any words in English, then I can translate it. And yeah. So before starting with the presentation, I just want to give you a short overview what you're going to expect in the next hour. So first of all, I want to give you a short insight in the organization itself. In German, it is called Natur im Garten, which is literally translated to nature in the garden. And after giving you a little insight what we do, what our target groups are, and what our communication channels are, I will hand over to my dear colleague Petra. Petra is one of our regional consultants and works together with communities and municipalities very closely. And after that, I'm going to give you a little insight about my task at Natur im Garten. And as Yasin already said, I'm the one responsible for the Nature in the Garden quality seal and also for our collaboration partners. So, Nature in the Garden. It is a movement that was launched in 1999. And as Walter already said, this year we had our 25th anniversary. And I think it's quite impressive if you think that just this movement started just in Lower Austria. And nowadays we are active in Europe, we are active in Germany, in Austria's neighboring country like Liechtenstein, Czech, and Hungary. And our aim is to promote and to support citizens and municipalities in order to design and maintain gardens and green spaces ecologically, like as you can see on the slide. And that is really our aim. And how we do it, we do have a lot of different communication channels, which I'm going to talk about later. But first, let me talk about our main criteria. So in 1999, this movement was founded, and the guys who founded the organization said, okay, what is ecological gardening? And basically, they said if you have 3 main criteria, that's already a good way in order to maintain your garden ecologically. So our 3 main criteria that you can find at anything that we do is the non-use of chemical synthetic fertilizers, the non-use of chemical synthetic pesticides, and the non-use of peat. And I think in that group, I do not have to go into further detail and explain you why not using chemical synthetic materials in the garden isn't good, or as well as peat, because we all know that peat comes from waterlands, and those areas should be protected at any cost, because we at Natur im Garten, we say they are the lungs of the world, and actually it is like that. Just to demonstrate you what Natur im Garten definitely is not talking about when talking about ecological gardening is this picture. When my colleagues and I see such a picture, we actually get goosebumps, because for us, this is really not a garden. It is just a tree and a meadow and a hedge, but that's it. So when we talk about ecological gardening, the image that we usually use is kind of that one. Here you can see a huge biodiversity. You can see a huge variety of plants. You can see a pond. And I don't know how you feel when looking at this picture, but just when I look at the picture, I feel a sense of relaxation, and it makes me happy. And it's not just the one thing that we try to create spaces for the humans, where they can feel very comfy, but also for insects or animals. This is also one aspect that we focus on and emphasize at our work. And how do we get the message across the people? We have a lot of communication channels. So one thing that we offer is a hotline, the Natur im Garten telephone. Okay, yeah, I see now that's not the right presentation, but here it says 50,000 calls per year, but in fact we have 40,000 calls per year. And how does it work? We have a team of 5 people sitting at the telephone from Monday to Friday, and honestly, anybody who has any question relating to garden can call there and say, hey, there's a funny insect crawling around my terrace. What is it? What can I do? Or also like, my roses don't look very good. Can you recommend some ecological fertilizers? So the Natur im Garten telephone team, those are biologists. We also have chemists in the team. So we have a lot of knowledge there, and people can call at any time and ask all the questions about gardening. Then we have a television show with one of our gardening testimonial. His name is Karl Bloberger, and it airs once a week, and we reach around 280,000 views per show. And then we also have a magazine which is published once in a quarter, and we have around 130,000 subscribers. Natur im Garten, I always refer to Natur im Garten as a knowledge organization because the people who work there have a huge knowledge about ecological gardening, and so also some of my colleagues, they write books. All in all, I think we have over 30 different books with different topics that we wrote, and we also sell or just give to people who are quite interested in those topics. We have a lot of webinars, workshops, and seminars, which is also free of cost for the participants. I mean, not all of it. We also provide workshops where people have to pay for it, depending on which season we have and which course. Sometimes the participants have to pay a little fee. We're very active when it comes to festivities and events. We have an ecological gardening show, which is actually the first ecological gardening show in Europe, which is also located close to our office in Tulln in Lower Austria, where we not only have a lot of visitors, so per year we have 200,000 visitors that look at those 200 gardens that we have on 2 hectares. And besides that, we also have a lot of websites that we provide to the people who are interested in ecological gardening. So just to show you some example, this is how our magazine looks like. Each quarter we have different topics that we deal with. This is our testimonial, Karl Bloberger, which is the anchorman of the TV show. And in Austria, actually, wherever you walk around and you ask somebody if they know Karl Bloberger, everybody will say for sure it's the ecological gardening guy. So working with a testimonial is also very recommendable. That is our hotline where people can call. And this is our bus. As stated earlier, we attend to a lot of festivals and festivities and events. We have this little bus, which is branded in our design, and it gives us the opportunity to really drive around Europe and even go to those villages that are on a mountain and where just a few inhabitants live in, so we can reach a lot of people and share the knowledge about ecological gardening. And at this picture, what you can see is that we have a lot of information material, and this is kind of the USB that we do. We put together all our knowledge and put it in brochures or books, and we also try to make it very understandable. So if 2 of my colleagues are talking to each other, for example, and they are biologists, for example, they use different terms, they have a different knowledge. And what we try to is to make complex topics easy understandable so that we can reach a wide variety of people, and also those people who are not into the topic gardening yet. Yeah, and this is one of our websites. It's also a really nice tool that gets used a lot. Here, for example, you can just say that you want to plant a tree in your garden and that you do not have a lot of sun in the garden or that the soil is very clayey. And then you can put in some filters. And after that, you will get a little list of recommendable trees which are very ecologically. Perfect. So this was already a little overview of Natur im Garten itself. Now I will give over to my colleague Petra, who will give you a little insight in more practices, what she's doing also with the communities. And Petra, floor is yours.
So thank you, Barbara. So good morning again, everyone. Yeah, my name is Petra. I work as an advisor or a consultant for Natur im Garten since 13 years for the southern region in Lower Austria. And Natur im Garten also supports communities to maintain and design their green spaces ecologically. And I will give you a brief insight in our consulting practice and also show you some best practice examples from the communities. So Barbara, next one, please. Next slide, yeah. Okay. On the one hand, we provide basic knowledge for people maintaining green spaces, as well as for people working in the community, like politicians, mayors. But we also organize hand-on practical training days for various topics and also field trips to best practice examples. Next one, please. Yeah, Barbara, I see this is the wrong one, so it's all a bit not in line. Yeah, anyway, maybe you can go back again.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So we offer also on-site visits for communities to give like advices to all aspects of ecological maintenance. And very popular, of course, is the on-site consultation for ecological weed control, because the ecological maintenance is the basis for our community award. And next one. So when the community follows our three main criteria that Barbara already introduced to you, if they follow them consequently, we award the communities with our Natur im Garten plaque. So it's awarded by the provincial governor, as you see in the middle. So next one, please. Yeah, here you can see a map of Lower Austria. It's the largest region in Austria in terms of extension. It's in the east of Austria, and it's the second largest in terms of population after Vienna. So the gray, it also surrounds Vienna. So this gray spot in the right middle is Vienna, if you can see it with the Danube flowing through. And all the dark green areas you see on the map are already Natur im Garten communities. The light green ones are communities on the way to Natur im Garten. And we are, of course, in contact with the white ones regarding a changeover. So next one, Barbara, please. Yeah, so which areas are affected with the changeover with the ecological maintenance? It's all green spaces that are maintained and cared for by the community, but its agriculture is not affected. And our second point of interest is the natural design of green spaces. As you can see on the picture, most of the surrounding areas around the communities are agriculture or forestry, which provide little food or habitat for our wildlife species. And gardens and green spaces can provide valuable substitute habitats if designed really carefully. So next one. Yeah, and a very simple method of increasing different or increasing biodiversity in terms of different insects and other species is to reduce mowing in generally or reduce the mowing rhythm. Here we work with the communities to find areas that they can mow less often It's still important, as you can see, to mow the edges around so that it doesn't look forgotten or neglected. But it's a very simple method, so each community really starts with mowing little after our consultation. Next one, please. Yeah, and by changing the mowing habit, like drought-tolerant herbs can develop very well. Many insects find living spaces there, and this is an example of an area in front of a community office. In the back, you also see the plaque on the left side, the Natur im Garten plaque. So it's, of course, a Natur im Garten community. And as there are many not intensely used lawns, we see really a lot of potential for such ecological measures in really all of the communities. So this is one thing where you can really make a difference with no extra work. Next one, please. So swales and gutters, for example, next to car parks, because most of them are different or difficult to mow anyway. And many of them are redesigned or planted out as flower meadows nowadays. We also have a local seed company. It's also a partner of Natur im Garten, and they offer special seed mixture with native flowers that can withstand both like drought as well as short periods of water flooding. And of course, it's increasing biodiversity as well if you design them like this instead of just grass. Next one, please. Yeah, the flower meadows need to be mowed only twice a year, and therefore they save money and time, especially at places that are hard to mow. Flower beds make the work much easier. And yeah, as I already mentioned, apart from it, they increase the biodiversity and really look nice as well. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, however, flower meadows do not make sense everywhere. In our experience, flower meadows are successful. There is some line missing. I'm sorry about that. It's all a bit not in the correct order. So in our experience, flower meadows are successful if the location is chosen really well, like a sunny area, of course, using larger areas in the communities, not many small areas, so bigger, larger areas. Of course, if you have little nutrition in the soil, and in the case of a new planting or a new sowing from the meadow, the soil should be weed-free. It's always best to use good quality, like wildflower seeds, good quality seeds, wildflower seeds. And questions like who mows the area with what machine should be clarified in advance, because sometimes the communities don't have the appropriate machines anymore to cut higher grass. So this should really be clarified in advance. And last but not least, it's very important to inform the public, and we provide like special signs and information for this purpose for the communities. Next one, please. Yeah, another big topic is to convince the communities of the importance and necessity of planting many, many trees and really look after them properly. Next one, but I don't have to tell you about that, I guess. Yeah, planting new trees and raising awareness of is of enormous qualities of all trees. Yeah. And it's also important that they know which tree they can plant. As you know, not all trees have the same ecological value. So we recommend the communities when they're planting new trees to plant wherever possible climate tolerant native trees, as they have the highest ecological value. Here you see a ginkgo compared to an oak, and a ginkgo, for example, can grow well in the harshest, really, and driest locations, but can never compete in terms of ecological value with an oak. So you will find less than 10 species in a ginkgo tree, but you might find over 100 and 1,500 species on an oak tree. So sorry. Next one. And we also advise the communities like about the value of all trees, of course. We provide communities lots of information how to care for all trees, especially protect them at the construction sites. And this enables communities to integrate tree protection at the very beginning of a project for construction work. So tree protection in Austria is regulated in a standard, but it's not obligatory to use. So we inform the communities to really make use of it and to protect the trees at the very beginning at the construction sites. Next one, please. Yeah, because to protect all trees carefully, I really don't have to mention, I guess, in this round is very important, and even cutting all trees correctly is essential. Their cooling capacity of all trees can be compared to 10 air conditions, and trees like this, as you see in the picture, have or are the habitats for as many insects and species as people living in a small town. So they're really ecological, of a great ecological value. Next one. That's why it's really important to make ecological design or on-site ecological design consulting. And we have a pool of experienced landscape planners and gardeners working for us doing actually the on-site design planning. Next one. Yeah, because we think it's important to avoid mistakes like this in the future. And our consultation is very much subsidized by the government. So each community can easily afford like planning consultations. Next one. Yeah, many streets and squares all over the region are currently redesigned to adapt to climate change, like you can see on this picture. Next one, please. Yeah, and we also, if they're once redesigned, we also show them how to maintain them properly. And as I already mentioned, take care of the trees and really water them correctly in the beginning, like in the first 3 to 5 years. Next one. Yeah, and we all know that densely built up areas with lots of concrete are enormous heat islands. Spending time there in summer is almost impossible. So next one. And the best and most efficient way to cool down our communities, but I'm sure you all know about that, is through planting, planting, planting. That's what we're really repeating in the communities and telling the communities. They are just the best air conditions we have in our communities. Next one. Unfortunately, in dense build-up areas, the tree beds are still often far too small, and we're working really hard to make them bigger. There should be a minimum of 12 cubic meters for a tree in the underground. We all know they are in reality much smaller, but to get really old, big trees, we need really good space in the underground. It's not an easy thing to achieve the bigger root beds for the trees. It needs interdisciplinary planning, and we're really working hard on this and to inform the communities. And we are working on all different levels concerning this in the communities to make really the planning from the very beginning for the trees or integrated in the planning. Yeah, and on the right you see the use or structurally stable soil. So for street trees, and this has become really widespread in the last years. So the communities really use special soils. They don't just take any soils or just compost soils. So they really use structurally stable soils with lots of mineral material inside. Next one. Yeah, we all know the ground, the root area is really important for the trees, and the structurally stable soils are important because what needs the roots in the ground is air, water and nutrition. So we really tell the communities to take good care of the underground in the trees and try not to make them too densely. Next one. Yeah, and in the last years, many sponge city projects were built. I guess you all are familiar with the idea of sponge city. This is now a very small community in Austria, and they built up a new main square and planted in total more than 30 trees, all according to the sponge city principle. Meaning that the underground area is area for the roots where they can grow, and for the tree roots, but also for rainwater storage. Next one, please. Yeah, this is how the square looks now after it's finishing. Not right now, but it was a couple of months ago. Next one, please. Here is the picture missing. The Schwammstadt in Tulln. So we go to the next one. Concerning like climate change adaptation, it's now the rainwater management, of course, is a big topic, and the unsealing of bigger areas like concrete parking is really in a good progress at the moment. So you see here a school parking area in Wiener Neustadt, where the parking lot is just full of concrete, no trees whatsoever. Next one, please. And an area of 600 cubic meter was unsealed. The new parkings are open to infiltration. Additionally, trees were planted to provide shade, and most of the trees were also planted using the sponge city principle. Next one, please. This is an example of a smaller community where the church entry area was unsealed and designed much greener. Yeah, the car parks were also open to infiltration now. So many communities, bigger communities, smaller communities, really start with redesigning concrete areas and unsealing places for climate change adaptation. Next one, please. This is a very innovative development for Lower Austria. It's a train garden system. They are also a partner of Natur im Garten. And what is train garden shortly? It's a special substrate or a soil mixture with an enormous water storage capacity. And it has a filter effect. That means you can also let contaminated water from the streets into beds, because at the other spaces you saw, mainly the rainwater from the squares or from the pathways is led into the beds. But this is like a system where you really have a good filter, so you can let street water into the beds. Next one. Yeah, in this case, the train garden beds were built instead of a rainwater channel on a new housing area. As you see on the right, this is like a new housing area was built. And they didn't build a rainwater channel. Instead, all of the rainwater is captured and stored on site to be used for the plants. And the rainwater is really captured and collected in those beds. And it's at least 350 liters of water that can be stored in each cubic meter of the train garden soil. And of course, you have the filter effect as mentioned already. Next one, please. Yeah, this is another example of a small village in Austria. They also use the drain garden soils there. And yeah, again, it's like the parking lots at the main square were made open to infiltration, and they made much more space for trees, for greens, and also for the pedestrians. So we have really many examples like this. Next one. And rainwater management, of course, also means using roof areas. Natur im Garten, we have one employee who only advises communities on green buildings. So he's driving around in the whole of Lower Austria and looking at roofs and how communities can make them upgrade to green roofs. And more communities build green roofs on community houses like schools, kindergartens. Or a new thing is that communities can prescribe green roofs for new private buildings. So if a new private building is built in the community really tells, okay, you have to make a green roof on top for rainwater storage. And more communities are prescribing this. Next one. Yeah, here you can see a green roof in the city of Baden. That's where my office is in the city. Yeah, this is like a garage of the community, of the local community, and the garage or the car roof was upgraded to a biodiversity roof, using also wood elements. I hope you can see it on the picture, so that there is some cutted woods and also there is some stones integrated in the rooftop. This project was a cooperation from the community, the municipality, Natur im Garten, and a university. Next one, please. Yeah, this is an example of a solar green roof on a kindergarten in a village close to Baden. Yeah, the combination of photovoltaics and green roof makes a lot of sense. Green roof can also increase the output of photovoltaic systems so that they are not in a concurrence, photovoltaic or green roof. So the best is to combine the two systems. And yeah, that's what we also see a lot nowadays. Next one. Yeah, staying with kindergarten, this was the rooftop of a kindergarten. We from Natur im Garten think it's particularly important to design the areas from kindergartens and school gardens as close to nature as possible. Yeah, to enable children to play and experiment in nature. We have already planned and designed a huge number of gardens, and we also award these gardens with a plaque. As you can see on the right, we have a plaque for kindergarten and a plaque for schools if they if they're ecologically designed. Next one. Yeah, it's sometimes just really very simple measures such as wild shrub hedges with native wild shrubs. They can already largely increase the biodiversity. And not only in kindergartens, we recommend like wild shrubs, but also in lots of areas in the communities, like public swimming pools or close to soccer fields, wherever playing grounds. So there is lots of areas in communities where you can integrate natural shrub structures. Next one. Yeah, here is an example for why it's important to use native plants again. You have the forsythia. We all know it's from China, and forsythia doesn't provide nectar or pollen or any fruits for the insects. But compared to a cornus, in this case, a cornus mas, they blow they're really early with their flowers, and they're really a magnet for insects, for bees. They are good for butterflies. The birds love the fruit, so they really have a high ecological value instead of exotic plants or compared to exotic plants. Next one, please. Yeah, again, it's an easy measure to integrate wood elements like cut woods from trees. Is everything else but dead. We call it in German Totholz, which would mean like dead wood, but it's very much alive. It's not dead, this cutted wood. It's around 1,500 beetle species can benefit from wood like this. And I'm always really amazed about this number, 1,500 beetle species. So, and it's such an easy thing just to integrate like cutted wood in the designing. Yeah, next one. Yeah, so that's what we do. We recommend communities as well to use wood elements wherever possible. Also, of course, in private gardens, we recommend this in all different positions, like standing straight or laying on the ground, to put it in the sun or in the shade, wherever it benefits a different insect, if it's in the sun or in the shade, but it's both very ecological, of an ecological value. Next one. Natural structures can be integrated anywhere in the communities. Here you see like tree branches in flower beds or stone walls, or just a pile of stone is possible in some tree beds. There are always good habitats for many species, and that's also what we recommend in private gardens. Next one. Yeah, as I already mentioned we recommend the use of native plants, as they provide a much better habitat and a food source for species than exotic plants. So we do a lot of educational work about native plants, and they are also better adapted to climate change normally. Yeah, next one. This example now is not from Lower Austria, but it's really worth mentioning here. It's a train station in the far west of Austria, in the community of Frankweil, which is very close to the Swiss border. This is a train station that was redesigned, and the green areas around it were made bee-friendly, like wild bee-friendly, using only native wild plants, cutted wood, dry stone walls. And a couple of years later, they made a wild bee counting was carried out there, and they counted 136 different species of wild bees just in this train station. So I think it's always really amazing how well ecological design works. This is in the middle of the communities, in the community, and it's 136 different species of wild bees were counted and found there. Next one. Next one. Yeah, this one. So we recommend the communities to rethink all the green spaces they are in charge, how they can improve them, how they can redesign them more ecological friendly. And it starts with cemeteries, roofs or facades, parks, of course, roadsides, schools and kindergartens, leisure areas like public swimming pools, beds and meadows. So there's really big potential in all the communities to improve the green areas. Next one. Yeah, and we also try to make the communities aware that they should not consider the green areas individually or separately from each other, but try to connect them wherever possible so that the animals also can migrate. Next one. Yeah, valuable green spaces should be connected via corridors. And these corridors can be hedges, that can be meadows, flower beds, trees, wild shrubs, all the things I just mentioned before. And yeah, this is important so that the species can migrate and have a genetic exchange. Next one. what we want to give the communities is a different perspective on their green spaces. So you can ask, does the hedgehog cross the road, or do the roads cross the hedgehog's habitat? So that communities are looking at their green areas from the perspective of wild animals and not just from the human perspective. Next one. Yeah, green spaces are much more than just ornamental. They green spaces make a big value or a valuable contribution to climate protection, climate change adaptation, and promotion of biodiversity. And yeah, as you can see, there are many ways that lead to more nature and more biodiversity in the communities. The important thing is that we get started. And I guess I have one more slide, Barbara. Yeah, so it's just important that we get started in the communities as well as in the private gardens. And so that was my presentation, and I give again the word to Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Petra. It's always nice to hear or to see the presentation from a colleague as well. So congratulations on all the projects you did with your communities. Also, I have to say, I'm really sorry. Obviously, I shared the wrong presentation. So some of our pictures are displaced and the order is not the final order we actually wanted to show to you today. But anyway, I hope you've seen a lot already and you enjoyed at least what we do. One thing that was also not in the slide so far is I wanted to give you a little oversight on the different target groups that we have. So the presentation Petra just did was focusing on the communities. We have a team of 5 people who work just with communities. Then we have a person who is just responsible for consulting communities how to make green rooftops or walls. Then we also have a team that works very close together with schools and educational institutions. Then we have me as a team, and I'm the one who is responsible for the network of the landscapers and professional gardeners and the quality seal. And we still have some minutes left, so I want to give you an insight on those 2 areas. So also one thing that is worth mentioning, on this slide, you see our logo. And our logo is also the plaque that we give to those institutions who meet our criteria and do the gardening to our criteria. And as you can see, they differ quite slightly. So on the left hand, you can see Partnerbetrieb, and on the right hand, you can see Gütesiegel in the logo. And Gütesiegel means quality seal, and Partnerbetrieb means collaboration partner. So all in all, we work together with over 160 partner companies. And those companies are starting from landscapers, but also to professional gardeners in the sense of they produce plants. Then we also have companies that are just trading companies. So we have a huge variety of different companies in those 160 partners. Referring to the quality seal, we have certified over 350 products from 50 different companies, which is quite a lot. Then focusing on our collaboration partners, as already stated at the beginning of the presentation, the movement Natur im Garten started in Lower Austria. So as you can see on the chart, around 90 businesses are located in Lower Austria, and the rest is located in the rest of Austria. In Styria, we also have around 25 partnering companies, and we do have 12 partnering companies in Germany as well. We also have different kinds of cooperations with the businesses. We have 2 premium partners, which are Bella Flora and Multicraft. Both are Austrian companies. And the only thing that differs to the collaboration to our other partners is that they have a different set of offers. For example, Bella Flora is a huge chain in Austria that is a gardening chain, and they are super ecologically oriented, and they have over 300 employees. And what we do is we train the employees. So they work also a lot with students, with part-time workers who do not have a lot of knowledge when it comes to gardening. And so we train the employees there. And why is it interesting to have such a network of landscapers and professional gardeners? So first of all, our logo is very well known already. Our brand, when you walk around Austria, for example, you can see at the fences of private houses the plaque as well, because we also certify or make the certification of private gardens. And now we also do it for businesses. And our businesses, they also get the plaque, as you can see on the pictures, and they can put it at the front door, for example. So when their clients enter to the shop, they recognize the logo and they know, okay, here you can get services or products that go with nature in the garden. So it is also a kind of reputation enhancement for the companies itself. And Bella Flora, the gardening chain I mentioned before, always makes a huge study when it comes to ecological gardening. And the last years, one can see that ecological gardening is a trend, and more people want to know more about biodiversity and all the topics we deal with. What we also do is we have a huge network of professionals, and we share this information and we share the knowledge. So our partners, they really profit from knowledge from other companies and an experience other companies do. We provide a lot of webinars and trainings for free. I mean, more or less for free, because all of our partner companies, they have to pay a little, to pay a little money to us. But on the other side, they get a lot of services. They get a lot of promotional support. We have a lot of social media channels where we advertise our partners, and also on the hotline at the Natur im Garten telephone, we recommend our partners to the clients who ask for a partner, for example, who can design ecological garden. Concerning the quality seal, where we have 350 products certified, we're way more strict than with our businesses, because in Austria, like, the businesses differ greatly in size and turnover. So it's quite hard to design some criteria that fit for all the companies. So when it comes to our quality seal, we have a 42 long catalog of criteria, and we're super strict. And it's also much more easier to control the product, because if, for example, if a company wants to have our quality seal, we get all the information about the product, what ingredients it has, where the ingredients are from, and we also value very much the packaging, if it's free of plastic, for example, and then it's way more easier to control the products. In all, we have 8 categories where we certify the products. And just to give you an example, these are some of our companies where we have partners who produce soil, or partners who produce ecological fertilizers, and so on. And just 2 products that I really want to emphasize, because I really love my work at Nature in the Garden, I have to say, because I'm able to work together with the companies who are super innovative. And those 2 products, Light Soil and Agrobiogel, for example, they invented products that can absorb a lot of water. And thinking back of the last summers, which were really hot in Austria, this is something that makes gardening so much easier, not only for our professional gardeners who produce plants, but also for private gardeners or communities. And those on the left-hand side, the light strips, it's actually the same mechanism as the biogel. It's just you put it in the soil, you mix it with the soil, and when you water it or when it rains, the gel or the strips, they absorb water and give it to the roots, to the plants when there's a dry spell. And what I really love about my job is 2 years ago, I was working together with our quality seal partners and our professional businesses, where we made some trials with the production of plants, where we used different soils, of course, without peat, and where we mixed also those hydrogels in it. And the result was that the professional gardeners who produce plants can really save a lot of water on the first hand, and on the other hand, it's also economically very attractive because they save human power to water the plants. And last but not least, I want to emphasize also our ecological garden show, which is in Tulln. And yeah, now we have the effect that we had earlier. Sorry. Yeah, this is our the first European Ecological Garden Show, where we're very happy to welcome you when you're once in Austria. And I'm really sorry, because actually here should be the slide of our Ecological Gardening Award, which is one thing that started in 2015, and one of my colleagues is responsible for the award. And when we got the opportunity to make a presentation at the ELCA network, she said, "Oh, Barbara, you really have to tell about the European Award for Ecological Gardening, because this is an award where we try to put very well designed and very well designed projects that are ecologically oriented in the spotlight, and we also award those projects with a huge ceremony in Lower Austria." And I would be very happy to send you a link to where you can submit the projects and also spread the word, about the award, because for sure we would love to get a lot of submissions, and we would be very happy to also spread the word about those great ecological projects. Perfect. So that was it. It's 3 to 10. We still have 3 minutes left. If you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer them, or in any case, we would be more than happy to stay in contact. I don't know if you have already our contact details. And yeah, we would be very happy to welcome you to Tulln, to our European garden show, if you're in Austria once.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Petra. This very inspiring and impressive presentation. How nature-based solutions, ecological gardens, and way of natural thinking, designing, building, and maintaining how has a lot of contribution for a better, sustainable, and green world. You know, all of us are working for a better, sustainable, and more green world, and our nature-based solutions has huge impact on biodiversity, quality of life, green cities, sponge cities, for a better world and sustainable way of living. So today in this great presentation, we learned a lot of inspiring ways about how we can start ecological gardens, how we can collaborate with the municipalities, industry sector, landscape contracting and gardening companies, and suppliers. So there was a lot of very valuable information and very nice samples. So I would like to thank you again for this good presentation. So is there any questions? I think we have 1 or 2 minutes to get questions. No, but Krista shared the website in the chat of Nature im Garten. If you have questions or further information, you can contact us, or you can go to directly website for the contacts. So today we completed the last session of our online sessions, inspiring sessions for Committee of Firms for 2024. So I would like to thank again to
Yes.
Petra and Barbara for this
There's one
presentation.
question.
And also, sorry.
Yes,
Please.
it's good to have a question at least. So I guess you have met resistance in your project. What was the main one, the most important one, and how did you handle it? How do you manage it? Because in France we have yes, we have resistance against such ways of gardening, and I'd like to know how it worked in Austria and how did you handle this resistance?
I will just start with answering the question, and then Petra, maybe I'll give it to you, because it really differs a little bit with the people who are working with the target groups.
Yeah.
In my part, for example, there's a lot of work going into persuading our gardeners when it especially comes to peat, because in the production with plants, peat is something that is just used and already since decades, and it's really hard to persuade the gardeners to use peat-free soil. And this is why I, for example, made the tests 2 years ago with the gardeners, where we tried to plant some of the plants in peat-free soil, and then we demonstrated directly at the production site of the gardeners that it's working, and we had really huge success. And then they're just spreading the word. And sometimes, or with some gardeners, it is like that. It's really hard to persuade them, and if they really don't want, then okay, we can also not do anything about it. So we also focus on those companies who are really eager to change something, and then we try to start up some projects together. Yeah.
Thank you, and I should have started with that. It was very inspiring. Congratulations, and thank you for this presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks
More
again.
questions?
Should I say something about the communities, the resistance with the communities?
Yeah.
Because you saw the map and there were still some white spots, so I can explain about that. I think it was a very interesting question. In the communities, the white spots is two reasons. So one is that the person in charge of the green spaces, the public green spaces, do not want to change. This sometimes are older persons, like 1 or 2 years just before their retirement, and they say, yeah, we've done it always like this. We don't want to change because it might not work. So this is one reason, that the people maintaining the areas do not want. And another reason is that the politicians don't think the topic is important enough. So it's some politicians have different topics. Most of the politicians think it's a really, really important topic because it's climate change adaptation, and we all know about this. But still, there are some politicians who have different emphasizes, and they think, we wait a little longer. And yeah, so these are two main criteria for the white spots. But we are really working hard on it to get the change over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Petra. We have a lot of boundaries to remove around us, when we think about to disseminate all this information and to convince all the parts to invest in more in natural and nature-based solutions, which an ecological approach. So another question? No? I think I would like to thank again Petra and Barbara for this great presentation, and also Krista and also Walter for being with us together in Naturium Garden and sharing their experiences. So our next online session will be held on 31 of January in 2025 at 9 o'clock from Anu and Riley about the innovative vocational training about our EU-funded projects, EPLUG and Artemis project. We will have information about how the digital transformation is involved in vocational training So it will be also a very interesting online inspiration session. So please note the date, and another link will be sent you an email for the participants. So I would like to thank all our participants today together with us. I think there was a lot of knowledge to take in and to bring us in our daily business. So in ELCA, in Committee of Firm, our goal is to exchange the experience. Today, we took a lot of very good samples and information and inspiration from this presentation from Austria, from Natrium Garden and Ecological Gardens. I wish an Happy Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. And I would like to meet you all again in the next ELCA Committee of Firms online inspiration sessions. Thank you for participation.
Thank you, Krista, Barbara, and Petra. It was really nice.
Thank you.